Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day, do they call it? Wednesday. I just said last night my days and weeks are going so fast at the minute. The sun is just coming up. I've just driven 85 miles to a site in Kent. What time is it? It's 7:20. Up at 5. Very typical work day for me. I had an interesting question and I thought I'd do a video to try and answer it. And it's I was asked why I can't have anything to do with my co-defendants now that I'm not in prison anymore. And the comment was also that they can't have much faith in their rehabilitation if they kind of set out those sorts of rules. It's an interesting comment as it goes. I'd never really thought of it like that, but it is a bit of a strange one, because when you're in prison, you can be with your co-defendants, no problem, unless there's some kind of fallout between you. Usually someone rolls over and becomes a grass and starts chucking mud at everyone else, but I've never had that experience with any of my co-defendants on either of my cases. Nobody wobbled and nobody went over. So yeah, I mean, I spent on my first sentence about the first probably 4.5 years with one of my co-defendants. We did Belmarsh together, we did Swellside together until he moved on to category C. He had less of a sentence than I did, so he progressed through the system a little bit quicker. The thing about co-defendants after release is that the rules are actually wider than that. So I am not allowed to have any contact with anybody that I know to be a convicted criminal. And that's actually the same for, I think, everybody who's on licence when they're released from prisons. They make one or two exceptions for personal circumstances. As you all know, I'm allowed to have contact with Emma, who is one of my co-defendants. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's quite simple. I'm not allowed to have any contact with anybody that I know to be a convicted criminal. So obviously that includes all of my co-defendants from my first case, who I don't see or speak to. 2 of them were my 2 closest friends. I'm not allowed any contact with them now. We were arrested 20 years ago. And I won't be allowed any contact with any of my co-defendants until 2031, when I finally come off licence. And the same applies to if I happen to know that somebody has a conviction or has been to prison, I'm not allowed to speak to them. I'm not allowed to have any contact with them. On the plus side, I don't have to interview new people that I meet. So, you know, I don't have to shake hands with someone and say, oh, by the way, are you a convicted criminal? Because if you are, I'll have to turn around and leave. I say that, you never know, that they might chuck that new rule at me, but for the time being, that doesn't apply, so I'm okay on that front. The other thing is that obviously it's never happened to me, I don't think, but if you do meet somebody and then you find out, you know, you might become friends with someone and you find out down the line that they have convictions. I'm not really sure where you stand on that. I suppose technically I do know where I stand on it, actually, just thinking it out. What I would have to do is tell that person, I'm really sorry, but I can't have any interaction with you anymore. And then after that, it would probably be wise for me to contact my probation officer and let her know what has happened, just so that no one can pull a card out on you later on. Yeah, so that's where we would go with that. In terms of the rehabilitation kind of question there, I think probably for somebody like me, the authorities don't have any faith in my ability to or my desire to stay crime free. That's fine, I get that, you know. Look, my track record is absolutely shambolic, and an absolute piss take, so of course I have to earn a bit of trust. I like to think that I've done a bit of that now. I've been out for 7 months. I'm here at work. I work not every day, but I work full time. My probation officer, my new one, is really good. She is supportive of my new ventures, so I can't complain about that. My last the only thing with my probation is I've recently moved, as a lot of you know. I don't actually live in Surrey anymore, so the last time I saw my PO, she said to me that probably I would only be seeing her one more time, and then I've got to go to a new probation office in Hampshire. She was really good about that, as it goes. She said she tried to sort of hold that off for as long as possible. She understands that I don't really like change much, and I can get a little bit unsettled. So that was nice of her, but ultimately I probably will only see her one more time, and hopefully I'll get a decent PO at the new place, but it's a lottery, unfortunately. I just need somebody who takes me on face value, tries not to be too alarmed and swayed by my past. I understand that that's a possibility, but somebody who could just focus on the today and the tomorrow a bit more would be great. We'll see what happens. I'm sure I'll let you know. I have to be reasonably not careful, just a bit thoughtful about what I say about probation. Even my podcast with Sean Atwood, I did watch a lot of it, and I thought, yeah, some of the stuff I said about probation having their foot on my neck when I got out, well, it is true. They were really all over me. It was quite stifling, but I probably don't need to say stuff like that anymore. I don't want to rattle their cage or give them any reason to haul me over the coals. So, but yeah, so probation, we'll see what happens. And in terms of rehabilitation, I've said this before, it doesn't matter if you interact with known criminals, really. It's still a matter of personal choice. I guess there is probably statistically a higher chance that you might get involved with something if you have regular contact with people you know are treading a different path. But do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've just been messaged by someone who has followed me on Facebook recently. I was offered driving licenses and something else, I can't remember. I just messaged back, said, mate, I'm not a criminal anymore, thanks for the offer, but I'm going to block you now. And that was that. I just did that about 10 minutes before I started this. I mean, probably some people would like to drag me back in. I was quite a good money maker for a lot of people, but I'm finished. I'm out of it. So Have a lovely day, everybody. I'm going to do a live very soon, possibly on YouTube.